I've tried all kinds of ways to clean category by category, room by room, even the minimalist approach. But honestly, there's just one method that feels better every time I use it. It takes less energy, it doesn't overwhelm me, and the results actually last. Especially in homes that look messy but aren't really disorganized, just busy. In this video, I'll show you exactly how that method works, step by step, and why I think it fits most busy, real-life households. Because here's the thing, most of us don't need to get rid of half our stuff. We just need a better way to set things up so we're not constantly resetting the same spaces over and over. Okay, let's get into it. Let me walk you through what this method actually is and why it works so well for most real homes. I call it Organizing Before Decluttering. Because in many cases, especially in busy homes, the problem isn't that you have too much stuff. It's that the stuff you do have doesn't have a proper place. You use it, you need it, but there's no clear system, so it ends up floating around the house, landing wherever there's space. And when things don't have a consistent home, the mess keeps coming back. This method flips the usual advice. Instead of starting with, what can I get rid of? We start with what actually needs to live here. It's not about minimizing, it's about reorganizing the space to support your daily life. You pick one area, maybe it's a drawer that always gets messy, or a kitchen shelf, or that surface where everything piles up. You empty it, clean it, and then look at what was there. What do you use often? What items make sense to keep together? What gets in the way? Then you put things back in a way that reflects how your household actually functions. Group, keep frequently used items easy to reach. Set it up so that putting things away is just as easy as taking them out. No overthinking, no perfect containers needed, just practical choices that match how you live. And here's the interesting thing, once you do that, a lot of the clutter takes care of itself. You might naturally let go of a few items that no longer fit the system, but even if you don't, the space already feels better because it finally makes sense. That's the power of organizing before decluttering. It gives your home a chance to work with you, not against you. It reduces daily friction. It lowers the mental load of where do I put this or why is this always in the way? You're not making your life fit some ideal system. You're building a system that fits your real life. And the best part is, this method doesn't require a big clean out or a free weekend. You don't have to get rid of half your belongings. You can start with 15 minutes and one drawer. You'll see results right away, and you can build from there. It's sustainable, it's calm, and it works for almost every messy but functional home I've seen. And if you're thinking, this sounds good, but my clutter always comes back anyway, don't worry. We're going to talk about that in the next video. I'll be sharing how clutter sneaks back in even after you organize, and what you can do to stop that cycle before it takes over again. But for today, let's walk through the steps together so you can try this method in your own home, one small space at a time. Now that you understand the idea, let's go step by step so you can try this in your own space today. The first step in organizing before decluttering is deciding where to start. And I want to be really clear here, we're not starting with the worst room in the house or tackling a giant project all at once. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, I want you to pick one small zone, not a whole room, just one shelf, one drawer, one corner of one space. This could be the kitchen counter that always piles up with mail, water bottles, lunch bags, and random receipts. It could be that top drawer in the bathroom where everything from toothpaste to hair ties to cough drops somehow ends up tangled together. Or maybe it's the entryway table, the one where keys, masks, receipts, backpacks, and sunglasses all fight for space. If you're in the kitchen, your starting point might be the cabinet under the sink, or the spice shelf, or the drawer with all the cooking utensils. In a bedroom, you might start with your nightstand, your top dresser drawer, or even just that one chair where clothes always get tossed at the end of the day. In the living room, maybe it's the coffee table, the entertainment stand, or the corner basket that's supposed to hold toys, but is now overflowing with everything but toys. The goal here is to choose a spot that annoys you regularly, a place where clutter always builds up, or where you constantly waste time digging for things. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be specific. One shelf in the pantry, the side pocket of your diaper bag, the corner of your desk that collects random pens, coins, and unopened mail, that's all you need. And if you're overwhelmed by clutter in multiple areas, don't worry. You're not choosing the most important place. You're choosing a starting point. Once you experience what it feels like for one zone to be functional again, it gives you the momentum to keep going. It also builds your confidence. Oh, that worked. I can do that again somewhere else. So take a minute walk around your space and pick one zone small enough to finish in 20 to 30 minutes. but annoying enough that fixing it would actually feel like a relief. That's your starting point. In the next step, I'll show you what to do once you've picked your spot. Now that you've chosen your starting zone, the next step is simple, but really important. Take everything out, completely. Clear the entire space. I know this part can feel like a hassle, especially if you're busy, but trust me, it's worth it. When I do this, I usually grab a big tray, a basket, or just use the nearest surface. I don't overthink it. The point is to make that drawer, cabinet, shelf, or tabletop totally empty so I can see what I've been cramming in there. This is the moment when you go, oh wow, I had no idea all of this was in there. Let me give you a few examples. The last time I organized our kitchen utensil drawer, I pulled out 7 spatulas. 7. 2 of them were broken, 1 was melted, but I didn't realize that until I had them all in front of me. That's what this step does. It helps you see the mess as it actually is, not just what's sitting on top. If I'm working on this bathroom cabinet, I'll pull everything out. Old face masks, travel-size shampoo bottles, expired cold medicine hairbrushes I haven't touched in months. Same thing with nightstands, office drawers, even the space under the kitchen sink. I don't leave anything behind, even if it seems like it belongs there. I want a clean slate. While the space is empty, I wipe it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's the perfect chance to get rid of dust crumbs or anything sticky that's built up. It takes 2 minutes and makes a big difference in how fresh the space feels when you put things back. This step isn't about sorting or deciding what to keep. We're not decluttering yet. This is just about seeing what's really there. And most of the time, once you see it all laid out, the next steps become easier because you're not guessing or digging. You're looking at everything clearly. If you're working with a shared space, this is also a good time to loop in other people. Ask your kids, do you still use this, or check with your partner before moving something they use daily? Keep it simple. You're not asking for big decisions, just gathering quick input. That's all you're doing in step 2. Get everything out, clean the space, and look at what you've got. Once it's all out in the open, you're ready for the next step, grouping things, so they make more sense together. Once you've taken everything out and given the space a quick wipe, it's time to start sorting, but not in a complicated way. We're not aiming for Pinterest-level organization. What we're doing here is simply grouping things by type, and more importantly, by how you actually use them. This step is all about making it easier to live with your stuff. I like to start by looking at what I have in front of me and asking one question: what things naturally go together? For example, in a kitchen drawer, I might separate utensils into groups: spoons, spatulas, cutting tools, measuring cups. If I'm organizing a bathroom shelf, I'll make piles like skincare, dental hair products, first aid, and so on. One thing I've learned over time is that your groups should reflect your daily habits, not just categories you see in a store. For example, if I always do my skincare routine at night, I'll group those products together, even if technically one is a cleanser and the other is a mask. What matters is, do I use them in the same context? If yes, I keep them together. Same goes for kids' stuff. If I'm sorting a toy bin, I might group things by how they're played with. All the puzzles go together, all the stuffed animals, all the tiny toys that come in sets. You can even have a random category, but the point is, you're deciding, not just tossing things back in without thinking. And you don't have to overdo it. I don't use fancy bins or labels unless they're helpful. Sometimes just having clear piles is enough. I'll literally put all the chargers and cords in one small box, or I'll toss all travel-sized toiletries into one basket. What matters is that everything has a group, and each group has a reason to exist. One more thing I do during this step is pull out anything that doesn't belong in that zone. This is huge. You'd be surprised how many random items just end up in the wrong place over time. The pen in the bathroom, the hairbrush in the kitchen, the dog toy in the office drawer. Instead of overthinking where it should go, I just create a rehome pile: stuff that needs to be returned to a better spot later. This keeps me focused on the area I'm working on instead of running around the house mid-project. Also, don't stress if something doesn't fit neatly into a group right away. You can have a miscellaneous or needs a home pile too. The goal here isn't perfection, it's clarity. Once you group things, you'll see what you actually use, what you have too many of, and what might be missing a proper place. And yes, you'll probably start to notice things you're ready to let go of. That's okay. Just set them aside for now. We'll deal with that soon. But remember, the main goal of this step is just to group things in a way that makes daily life easier. Once everything is grouped, the next step is putting it all back. But this time with more intention, I'll walk you through exactly how to do that next. Now that your space is empty and everything's been sorted into groups, it's time to put things back in, but not the way they were before. This step is where you rebuild the space to actually make your life easier. And that means setting it up in a way that's easy to reach, easy to put away, and easy to remember. So here's how I usually think through it. First, I start with the items I use every day. These things should be the easiest to grab, right up front or in the top part of the drawer or right at eye level if you're using a shelf. If it's something I reach for once a week or less, I don't need it front and center. That stuff can go toward the back or on a higher shelf. For example, in my kitchen drawer, I keep the can opener, measuring spoons, and scissors right near the front. They're used constantly. Things like corn cob holders or an apple slicer, those go toward the back because I only use them once in a while. Same thing in the bathroom. Toothbrushes, deodorant, and face wash stay in a tray that's right at hand level. Backup razors, travel stuff, or extra products go further back. If I put them too close to the front, they just get in the way. The next thing I think about is ease of putting away. If something is easy to grab but hard to return, it won't stay organized. So I avoid anything that requires too many steps, like stacking lids that always fall over, or deep bins where things get lost at the bottom. Open trays, small baskets, and drawer dividers work great. They don't need to be fancy, just enough to give each group its own little home. Also, try to make it obvious where things go back, especially in spaces that other people use too. I've used sticky notes before to label zones like chargers, snacks, or cleaning supplies. It doesn't have to be permanent. It's just enough to remind everyone what goes where and reduce the mental load of constantly figuring it out again. One more tip that helps a lot: think in zones. Even within a single drawer or shelf, I like to keep things that are used together next to each other. For example, if I'm setting up a coffee station, I'll keep the coffee filters, scoop, and mugs all nearby, not spread across 3 cabinets. If you use something at the same time as something else, store them together. And finally, step back and test it. Open the drawer, close the cabinet, reach for something. Does it feel easier? Can you find things without thinking? If yes, you're doing it right. If something still feels annoying, that's okay. Just adjust. This isn't about perfection. It's about building a system that works for your real life. So by now, you've put back the items, you use the ones that actually belong in that space, grouped in a way that makes your day easier. But if you're anything like me, there's probably still a little pile sitting off to the side. The stuff that didn't really fit into any group, or that didn't belong in that spot to begin with. Or let's be honest, the things you've been avoiding deciding about for months. And that's totally normal. This is the part where we pause and ask, what do I actually want to do with these? Not in a rushed way, just with curiosity. I'll usually notice a few different types of things in this leftover pile. Some of it I know right away doesn't belong here, like the screwdriver that always ends up in the junk drawer even though we have a whole toolbox in the garage. Or that lotion I always thought I'd use at my desk but never actually reach for. So I grab a small basket or tray label, it put somewhere else, and toss those items in. I don't run around the house right now, I just collect them and move on. I can rehome them later. Then there's the stuff I'm not sure about. Random chargers, a key I don't recognize, or that one piece that looks important, but I can't remember what it goes to. Instead of letting those things float around again, I'll just put them in a small, clear bin, label it with today's date, and call it undecided. That way, it's not in my way, but it's also not forgotten. And I tell myself if I don't touch it or need it in a month, it's probably safe to let it go. And finally, there's always at least one item that just feels stuck. Something I don't use, maybe don't even like, but feel weirdly guilty about letting go of. I try not to force the decision right away. I just ask myself, is this helping me or just adding noise? Most of the time, when I'm honest, I realize I'm holding on to it out of habit or guilt, not because it actually serves me. The goal here isn't to make perfect decisions, it's just to bring a little clarity to what's left. Because when the rest of your space is clean and functional, this small pile really stands out and you get a chance to deal with it with fresh eyes. That's how you wrap up this process, with intention. Not by making everything perfect, but by giving everything a place, even if that place is a temporary box labeled "not sure yet." That's still progress. In the next and final step, I'll show you how to keep this going so you're not starting from scratch every time. So now the space is organized, it's clean, it makes sense, and it actually works for how you live. But here's the part that most people worry about: how do I keep it this way without falling back into the same mess a week later? I get it. I've been there too, that feeling of, it looks great now, but how long is it going to last? So let me tell you what's worked for me, and for a lot of the women I've helped. Maintenance doesn't have to be perfect or time-consuming. It just needs to be regular and realistic. One thing I do is check in with each space quickly, about once a week. Nothing formal. Sometimes it's while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil or brushing my teeth. I just open the drawer, look around for a few seconds, and ask myself, is everything still where it should be, or is something starting to drift? That quick check helps me catch little messes before they become full resets again. Another thing that helps, giving yourself permission to reset just one spot at a time. You don't have to redo the whole system if something feels off. Maybe the snack basket is overflowing or the mail pile is growing again. You take 5 minutes, regroup that one zone, and move on. No shame. No, I failed. Just small, simple resets when you need them. And honestly, the biggest difference comes from that moment when you're holding something in your hand and you know it has a home. That's the payoff of all the steps before this. When your space is set up around how you actually live, it starts guiding your habits automatically. You put things back because it's easier than leaving them out, and that's what makes it stick. But also life happens. Some weeks, everything feels chaotic again. That doesn't mean your system's broken, it just means you're human. The key is not to panic or feel like you have to start over. You just pick one spot, breathe, and begin again with less effort than before. Because the more often you do these little maintenance moments, the less time you spend doing big cleanups. And over time, your home starts to feel like something that supports you, not something that constantly needs saving. So that's it. 6 simple steps to get any space in your home back under control without having to throw everything away or start from scratch. We didn't rush it. We didn't aim for perfection. We just focused on one small spot, cleared it out, grouped things by how you actually use them, set up a system that makes sense, and let go of what no longer fits. This method works because it fits real life. It doesn't require a full weekend or a perfectly organized personality. You can start small and build from there, and honestly, that's what makes it stick. Now, if your space feels better, but you still find clutter creeping back in, like things slowly piling up again, that's exactly what we'll talk about in the next video. I'll show you how to spot the little habits that quietly undo your progress and how to stop that buildup before it takes over. It's a more direct conversation, but it's one that really helps when you feel stuck. If this video helped you, I'd love if you gave it a like, shared it with a friend who might need it, or hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks so much for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next one.